Will you remain faithful in prayer and attendant at the Holy Eucharist and in the reading and study of the Holy Scriptures?
I will, for God's word is my trust, and my food is the bread of heaven.
It is the obligation of each brother to participate in the celebration of the Eucharist at least once in each week, and, when possible, once in each day. He shall properly prepare for and give thanks for this privilege.
One of the things that maybe has disappointed me a little bit about ordination and serving at the altar is that some of the mysticism for me has lessened. I mean, it's, you're performing, and when you're performing, you're thinking about not so much the spirituality of the Eucharist and being fed by the Eucharist, but at least for me, about not making mistakes. And so sometimes I'm thinking about doing the right thing rather than actually what I'm taking part in.
It is the obligation of each brother to participate in the celebration of the Eucharist at least once in each week, and, when possible, once in each day. He shall properly prepare for and give thanks for this privilege.
It is the obligation of each brother to participate in the celebration of the Eucharist at least once in each week, and, when possible, once in each day.
It is the obligation of each brother to participate in the celebration of the Eucharist at least once in each week, and, when possible, once in each day.
He shall properly prepare for and give thanks for this privilege.
He shall properly prepare for and give thanks for this privilege.
I have to admit, I've never been much of one for a great deal of preparation prior to worship. I like to enter into the worship and be there just as I am. I don't really want to prepare, that kind of anticipation. I like to be in the moment. And so, for me, the Eucharist focuses itself because of the readings, the music, the liturgy, draws me in and holds me.
One of the important things I feel about my spiritual life is church is very important to me in the Mass. When I receive communion and the priest raises the host and raises the wine, I actually visual Jesus there, and I'm so amazed on how close I feel to him.
In this community, we make a promise that we will pray the offices 4 times a day: morning prayer, noonday, evening prayer, and compline. So we begin the day, continue the day, and end the day with prayer.
It is the obligation of each brother to pray the offices on a daily basis.
It is the obligation of each brother to pray the offices on a daily basis.
So I may be with a client and I may have a free moment, so I go and pray the office. I've prayed the offices waiting for a movie to start. Living into that challenge and meeting that challenge day to day does allow me to be more faithful.
It's much easier now that I'm retired. It hasn't always been easier. When I worked a full work life at the firehouse, in the fire department, especially when I was there for 24 hours, I would actually, this was before cell phones and that would light up, so you could see them in the dark. I actually would go to a parking lot near the firehouse and pull underneath a street light that was in the parking lot to do morning prayer. Because I knew once I got there, I might be able to do it or I might not be able to do it.
When I work at Ascension, I sometimes go and do the morning prayer with them. They do a daily morning prayer on the weekdays. But mostly I do it at home, in my own little chair in my living room. Because we do the 30-day psalm cycle, and they do the everyday psalm cycle. So it's not edifying for me because I'm so used to the 30 days, it's ingrained in me by now.
It is the obligation of each brother to pray the offices on a daily basis, and the Book of Common Prayer, or the authorized prayer book of the national or provincial church where a brother resides, is to be used for this purpose.
When the Brotherhood decided that we would use the Book of Common Prayer, we weren't using the Book of Common Prayer as our office book when I became a member. We were using the Holy Cross Breviary. But eventually we came to see that we wanted to be very much a part of the mainstream of the life of the Episcopal Church. And so to undertake a prayer life, a different structure that separated us from that mainstream was not beneficial to us.
Other offices may be substituted only when a brother is taking part in a communal or public service.
I think any of us are quite capable of doing morning prayer, noonday, evening prayer and compline, and be perfectly happy on our own. But the sense, for me at least, having that rule, this is what you're going to do, boys, this is required, and knowing that everybody around, they might not be doing it at the same exact time, but I've at first I thought, nah, this is hokey. I don't know what they're doing. Somebody did morning prayer an hour ago. That's not being together. Well, it is. It just kind of took. It really did.